Hi everyone, it's BJ, the Tuminator, and happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Today's Friday, March 17th, and St. Patrick's Day, so some of you may be enjoying a green beverage later on today. I'm actually using my phone today because I didn't like the humming noise I was getting from the computer, and I think the camera seems to have a bit more clarity, so I like that. And I don't have a camera holder. What I've done is I've actually taped it to the back of my laptop so that it's in position and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's the way to go. So this morning I have to send huge thank yous to a couple donors that donated to my fundraiser yesterday, and that was it's just awesome. And I do have a list here that I'm going to follow here so I don't make mistakes. First of all, big thank you to longtime friend Norma, and she was very kind and thoughtful and very generous in her donation. So Norma, I really appreciate that. And Norma and I have known each other, it's been quite a while. You know, I was trying to remember, and I'm thinking eight or 10 years or so, I'm thinking. So we go back quite a ways. And another huge thank you to my friend and colleague Brenda, and a very generous donation. Brenda, you know, both you and Norma overdid it. That's just wild, and very muchly appreciated. And Brenda was the one that actually came up with this idea for the fundraiser that I should do it a number of months ago, probably when I started on short-term disability. So huge thank yous to Norma and Brenda this morning. Thanks, guys. Oh, and I wanted to show you a card that my cousin Lori sent me. Just a nice supportive card, and I got it in the mail yesterday, so hopefully I'll position this right and you can see it. So isn't that beautiful? So thanks very much, Lori. She's my cousin out in Saskatchewan. So just a gorgeous card, and how thoughtful, you know, so I really appreciate that, Lori. And I am looking at a piece of paper here, and I'm going to have to put on my glasses. So yesterday I was talking a bit about my experiences with my chemotherapy drugs, and I actually looked up my chemotherapy drugs. So one of the ones I was on was called I hope I pronounced this correctly, cyclophosphamide. And excuse me, and the class of drug that is, it's an alkylating drug, and the type is a nitrogen mustard. So, you know, that sounds like it should be in a cooking show. But doing a little bit of research a few months ago before I started chemotherapy, I learned that the invention or the discovery of some chemotherapy drugs were taken from mustard gas during and after World War I, where mustard gas was used a great deal. And apparently for soldiers that had survived mustard gas attacks, they were finding certain benefits. So from there, chemotherapy was born, very basically. And the other chemotherapy drug I was on is docetaxel. And that class, it says a natural product, and the type is a taxane. So those are the class and type of those two chemotherapy drugs. I don't know if one was worse than the other. Docetaxel took about an hour, and the other one, cyclophosphamide, took about 45 minutes. I could have them both sped up or slowed down even further, but I was comfortable with those time limits. With docetaxel, it was very hard on the veins. They would go into spasm sometimes. So when they started that drug, they would put a heating pad on over my over where the needle was going into my arm, so it would help relax the vein. Yeah. Okay. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, sorry, I'm moving. It's just, everything just hurts a bit here. I talked about the chemotherapy bell, and so I looked up some research on it, and let me see here. What I could find, apparently it was a tradition started in 1996 at the MD Anderson Cancer Center at the University of Texas, and it started with U.S. Navy Rear Admiral Irv Lemoyne, who had head and neck cancer, and he installed a brass bell at that main campus of Radiation Treatment Center at MD Anderson Center. And so he started it, from what I could gather, and he actually wrote a poem about it. So I'll read that to you. It's not too long. It's called Ringing Out. Ring this bell 3 times. Ring this bell 3 times well. It's told to clearly say, my treatment's done, this course is run, and I am on my way. So that was by Irv Lemoyne, who was a Navy Rear Admiral. So that's pretty interesting, hey, how that all started. 1996, so not that long ago. And yeah, so that was it. I'm trying to think what else I wanted to talk about today. I'm drawing a blank. You know how they say chemo brain or chemo fog? It's true. Really forgetful, difficulty focusing and concentrating. Some of that forgetfulness, when we're aging, that's kind of normal, but this is worse than that. Like you saw, even when I was reading that, I was stumbling, and sometimes I'll be speaking and I know a word I want to say, but it's just not coming out, or I forget how to spell stuff. Like the other day I keep a journal, so I was writing the word hurry, and you think I could remember how to spell that? I was going W-H or W-R, no, and then it came to me about 10 seconds later. Oh, I think I'm either having a hot flash or I'm just hot, so I got to take off my hat. Sorry. Yeah, the old, warmish. So what was I talking about? See, here we go again. Oh, the chemo brain idea. So yeah, just kind of a fog, because the chemo, when you have the chemotherapy drugs, of course, they don't actually, get into your brain. Thank goodness. I'm guessing it would probably kill you. So what stops chemotherapy drugs from entering your brain tissue is the blood-brain barrier, which is a natural barrier we have, and it protects the brain from certain substances and everything. So that's good. So that's why it doesn't actually get into your brain, which